Welcome to Aging Untold. Today we're talking independence, and maintaining that independence is one of the top priorities for seniors in the U.S. According to a recent study, many older adults consider living in their own home essential to their independence. And CDC data shows about 1/3 of persons aged 65 and older live alone. But Sam, does that mean they are really living independently?
Who's independent? That's a fallacy. We're all dependent on someone. The richest person out there is dependent on us to spend our money so they can keep theirs. We all need other people. And if you bring a caregiver in, even for a few hours, are you really independent any longer? Or are you? So accept it. Go ahead and kind of get rid of that mindset of, well, I'm just going to stay independent. Realize that you aren't. Accept that. And then it's easier to get more help as you need more help.
I think they're looking at it in the context of independence in terms of being able to stay at their home, right?
Right.
And then what options do we have out there for people who need to understand they're going to need help? There's options that are available to them.
Yeah.
I had a lady in the hospital. She went home. She needed care. She was getting care. And she said, do not move me to assisted living. And I said, well, then we'll increase care here because you are in assisted living right now. You know, you got to kind of understand that you're needing assisted care. You're just at that stage.
Yeah. You think, I'm going to be independent because I'm going to stay in my own home. But the thing is that you're not independent if your neighbors are helping you with things and your kids are helping you with things. You really have all these people. And we have a lot of seniors that are calling 911 all the time. So they're living in assisted living because the paramedics and the firefighters are coming over all the time. And so we really got to really get a grip on reality and what is really going on. And I think many people can be much more independent by changing environments. Dream a new dream and find a home that's going to suit you better, perhaps, so that you can get around better. It's designed better for you. Move into active adult living where you own or you lease, and you have more independence. You have more cohorts around. There's more activities and just more life. Or independent living where you have nutrition, social activities that you could plug into or not. You don't have to go to bingo if you don't want to.
Or planning for the environment that you want to be in.
Yes.
Planning is...
If you don't plan for yourself, somebody is going to be forced to make decisions for you, perhaps.
Absolutely.
Because most of us don't just magically float away to heaven from our warm bed.
And I always caution families, never, ever, ever make that blanket promise, we're never going to move you. And a lot of our aging population they'll say, you have to promise me, you're never going to put me in a community. You're never going to put me in a facility. And they'll tell you, and then when it comes right down to it, and you don't have the skill set or the finances to bring in the people to help you, the time and all of the other things, who's paying the price there? So don't make those blanket promises. It's you know what? I'll do the best I can.
I'll do everything I can.
I'll do everything I can to take care of you on your terms. But we've got to have a plan B.
Mm-hmm. But at least you're now having that conversation with that person.
And I also think we need to talk about money. You know, sometimes people don't bring care in because they're afraid to start that financial clock.
Sure.
And so here I am. I'm at home.
Right.
If I start, I'm going to run out. So I'm going to stay independent here at home because that's what I perceive to be independent, not having anybody help me. But I don't want to start spending that money because what if it won't last?
And that's a genuine fear. That is a true and genuine fear. So if you could maybe, let's be creative here. What if you had a neighbor that's also in your same age group? Because a lot of our communities age together, seems like. And maybe they needed an hour and you needed an hour and another neighbor across the road did. Could you talk to a home care agency that typically has a 3 or 4 hour minimum and say, you know what, I've got 2 other neighbors close by. Can you just charge me for an hour and you'll get the same with them? Can we start doing some programs where we're sharing the care and sharing the expense and start to think outside of the box to help that money go through?
Yeah. Well, and the other thing that I think is helpful is get somebody from the outside, look at your budget, look at where you are, what your money is, what your expenses are, what are your assets, because maybe you're totally unrealistic about what you're spending. Maybe you do have enough, but you need someone to reinforce that you're never going to run
Right.
out. This is how it's going to work. I had one son, and his mother was like just very, very middle class, like right in the middle, which is, you know, a generation that I feel really bad for. But he said, Mom, I'm going to pay for everything, and then when you die, I'll just get paid back for your estate. And she was so relieved. And I thought that was a really creative idea.
So he created a reverse mortgage essentially.
Right, exactly. Now, not everybody can do that, but I think what we're trying to say is let's encourage people to think creatively and supportively so that somebody can remain as independent as they want for as long as they want.
I think the key is think, because a lot of people say, well, we don't know what we're waiting for. Well, I'll tell you what you're waiting for. You're waiting for a catalyst event that's going to force action.
Yeah.
And
Right.
so the most loving thing you can do for everyone in your family, maybe for your spouse, is help each other get settled where you're going to be good.